an offense just like when someone goes to commit murder, of an offense just like someone going to commit robbery, rape, what have you. An offense is an offense. Of course, we have degrees of them, but they are all classified as an offense. And so you need to appreciate the fact that when you see or when you find yourself engaging in vote buying and or vote selling, what it simply means is that you have committed a criminal offense. Why is it that when criminal offenses are committed, it is very difficult to see that the law enforcers are there to arrest or apprehend those who are committing it? Isn't it worrying that if you see right now someone who is trying to commit murder, someone who is trying to commit robbery, to steal, the first instinct, whether you are a citizen or you are in uniform, if you are a citizen, you want to do what we call citizen's arrest. If you are in uniform, you want to do what is mandated of you, and that is to apprehend or to arrest the person. So what makes it so challenging when it comes to vote buying and vote selling? Look at on the screen, as you can see, a video, something that happened in, this is, I think this is Ayawaso East. And as it goes on, you'll find out that individuals are seen carrying television sets. They are seen carrying other items. I'm told that some were giving motorbikes and all that. Some were giving bags of rice and all that. What is the intention? What is the purpose? Is it supposed to induce and influence these delegates when it comes to who to vote for? And this is not just strange. 2 weeks ago, as I indicated, we realized that the MPP also had same. Some of the stations that I visited personally to observe, I realized that individuals coming from the camps of the various candidates, for instance, Ken Ejapon, the camp of Ken Ejapon, I saw them sharing an amount of 500 Ghana cedis to each of the delegates. Brian Champon sharing 700 Ghana cedis to each of the delegates. And last week, remember, we did a tabulation to find out the amounts involved. So I won't go into that. His Excellency Baumia sharing an amount of 500 Ghana cedis to each of the delegates. And remember, we had over 196,000 delegates. So you can do the computation. And it goes on and it goes on. Why is it that when we have perceived acts of corruption in the form of vote buying and vote selling, you will find the police, law enforcers, finding it so difficult to arrest or apprehend anyone? This election that we are seeing on the screen, there were police officers over there. The MPP election, there were police officers over there. Indeed, we are being told that the special prosecutor, not knowing anytime there are elections taking place, he is able to deploy his officers to these various places. And so not only were the police officers, there were also officers coming from the office of the special prosecutor. And yet, none of these authorities were able to apply the law or the sections that frown upon vote buying and vote selling. That makes vote buying and vote selling a criminal offense. Isn't it so ironical? And so we ask ourselves, why is it that we are not able to find a lasting solution to this issue of vote buying and vote selling? And that is why Crusaders Against Corruption, looking at all the proposals that has come, there has been a proposal coming from the presidency, and the only thing it says is that they have taken Baba Jama off his position as an ambassador. That is the only thing it says. You go to the majority caucus in parliament, and by extension, the legislature, that is parliament. And what are they saying? They are saying that the election should be annulled. And that is all they talk about. Indeed, the special prosecutor himself comes out to tell us that he is now going to do an investigation into the MPP primaries and that of the Ayawaso East. And I ask myself, MPP finished its primaries 2 weeks ago. When did the special prosecutor realize that there's a need for him to go into an investigation? Is it after he has heard that we've started talking about vote buying and vote selling again, and so now he's awake from whatever slumber he was in? Now He went to sleep after the election. Now he has come out and he says that this is what we are going to do. What is also interesting is that if you look at it, it talks about the fact that one of his officers was, affected or was attacked. And so he's going to do an investigation into that. Look, as a country, we should stop wasting our time. We should stop having this ad hoc approach to lasting solutions that we are all looking for. I won't go into details because I've talked a lot about that on other platforms, and I believe that we've all seen and we've heard it. But this evening, we are saying that Crusaders Against Corruption Ghana condemns vote buying and electoral malpractices in Ghana. And I'm going to read what we have on the screen. In line with our consistent position, we strongly condemn all acts of vote buying and voter inducement in the electoral process in Ghana. These practices are unlawful, unethical, and fundamentally threaten the integrity of our democratic system. Vote buying, whether through cash, gifts, food items, or promises of material benefits, is expressly prohibited under Ghana's electoral laws, including the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, the Public Elections Regulations 2020 CI 127, and relevant provisions in the Criminal Offences Act 1960, Act 26, and I've given you the relevant section. These laws criminalize corrupt electoral practices and impose sanctions on individuals who seek to improperly influence voters. And that is very clear. Such conduct violates the principles of free, fair, and transparent elections, guaranteed by the Constitution, and it undermines the sovereign rights of the Ghanaian people to choose their leaders without coercion or inducements. Exploiting economic hardship to sway voters is not only illegal, but morally reprehensible. It is illegal, but not only that, when it comes to the moral aspect, it is also something that we cannot accept. Now, we do not believe that the ad hoc approach and measures to this criminal act is the solution. The release that came from the presidency, unfortunately, as far as we are concerned, is an ad hoc approach. The release that came from the majority caucus and by extension parliament, unfortunately, as far as we are concerned, is an ad hoc approach. And that is not what we need. Laws are there. It is for us to apply and implement the laws. What prevents the special prosecutor, what prevents the IGP and by extension the police service, what prevents CID's department from implementing the laws that we have? Section 240, Section 241 of the Criminal Code. It is explicit. You don't need ad hoc approaches. You don't need to come and tell us that you are going to have an investigation. It is your duty and your mandate to ensure that this is done. And because of that, Crusaders Against Corruption Ghana, we've come out with 3 demands, and we are expecting that latest by the end of this week, this demand would be adhered to. We therefore demand, as citizens of Ghana and anti-corruption CSO, that 1, the presidency should formally call the attention of the appropriate state investigative bodies to ensure absolute enforcement of the laws, irrespective of who or which political party is involved. So this is to the presidency. Secondly, the legislative arm of government must exercise its oversight responsibility by ensuring that relevant state institutions are called immediately to act on the matter per the law. And this is what we are expecting the majority in parliament and by extension the legislative arm of government to do, and not to come out with a release telling us that they want to, or we should annul the election that took place. That is not the way to go. That is just an ad hoc approach, and we are not interested in an ad hoc approach. The third one, and that is the third demand, and this demand is going straight to the OSP's office. The OSP must give an immediate account to us citizens of how his office has applied these laws in the numerous alleged vote buying cases in all previous elections that he claims are being investigated. Remember that as far back as 2019, that was actually the first time we heard Kisei Jabin telling us that he was going to investigate corruption cases pertaining to vote buying and vote selling. 2019. Between 2019 and now, we've had so many elections. And trust me, almost all of these elections, there has been one form of vote buying and another form of vote selling. And yet, to date, Special Prosecutor has not been able to get to a logical conclusion on even one of the cases to serve as a deterrent so that there will not be future occurrences. Isn't it so worrying that that which is a criminal offense, as I realized and I established earlier, we have gotten to a stage where, because of the inactions of our state institutions, it is now becoming a norm. Broad daylight, people are committing crime in the form of vote buying and vote selling. In the presence of police, uniformed men and women, people are bold to commit such a crime or purported crime, simply because over the past period, the state institutions that are supposed to apply the laws have failed to apply the laws. This is not the kind of country we want to build, because what we are doing, we are not only bringing a disgrace to the image of the democracy that we are practicing, but we are also weakening the foundation, that which makes our democracy a strong one. We are weakening it. We are now reducing our democracy not to, or the selection of our leaders, not to that of meritocracy. No, it is not about the competence and what you can do. It is now about monetocracy. The highest bidder is the one who wins. And because the framers of our laws, our constitutions, our electoral laws, our criminal code, in their wisdom, which I agree with them, realizes that vote buying and vote selling undermines the democracy that we are practicing and it weakens it, they decided to make it a crime. So what prevents the authorities from just applying these laws? What prevents the authorities from applying these laws? The special prosecutor is part of the executive. The CID is part of the executive. The police, Ioku, Shraj, they are all part of the executives. What prevents the executive from applying the laws that we already have? Then we come to Parliament. They are supposed to serve as, or to have an oversight responsibility to ensure that the executive are up and doing. What prevents the legislative arm of government from ensuring that the executive are applying the laws that came from their quarters, that is from Parliament? It is not just for fun that we are paying these individuals to go to Parliament to enact laws. We are not enacting laws for the laws to be on the shelves for it to gather dust. No. We are enacting laws so that these laws will be implemented to protect our democracy. And I'm so disappointed. And that is why I want to applaud the party, the NDC, as a political party, because in all of these releases that have come, I see an absolute wisdom in the approach that the NDC as a political party has taken. And I was expecting that the executive and that of the legislature would have done the same. They have come out to constitute a committee to investigate. And I'm told that the working of the committee is to come to an end by close of tomorrow. Isn't it so interesting that in less than 3 days, a committee has been set up and the committee is supposed to probe into this? That committee, trust you me, that committee, the resources available cannot be compared to the resources available to the Special Prosecutor's Office. And so if they can do this work within 3 days, Special Prosecutor, if indeed is committed to applying the laws that we have, is committed to ensuring that what we are paying him and the office to do, they are really going to do it. They don't need more than 3 days. Because at least a political party's committee is showing us that within 3 days they are able, or they will be able to do the work. Special prosecutor's office should not spend more than 2 days or a day in making sure that this thing is done. Friends, we are going to take a quick commercial break. This is just a prelude, and that is the first aspect of it. We'll take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll go into the second segment, which has to do with our farmers. There are things that are also happening on that angle, and we need to go into it. You can send in your messages, send in your questions, send in your contributions, and at the appropriate time, we will engage you. Stay tuned. I'll be right back.
Ifo kra na menyisika edia ye mefui.
Ehin fa na menya bosia edia tre medwuma yimu.
Kai kra mabre me busia ato taxi fufu. Suhum Rural Bank.
Suhum Rural Bank.
Yamamu akwa baba Suhum Rural Bank. Ye won hyehyɛ ahodoɔ bi te sɛ dwadifo abosia, ekuokuo bosia, susu account, and da so wɔ hɔ savings account, me bada chain savings account, and the akeka ho. Suhum Rural Bank was 034229186. Na won so wetumi aka sɛ
Suhum Rural Bank. Ama ene mayeka una.
Suhum Rural Bank. Enti me pa minie.
Suhum Rural Bank, growing our heritage.
Welcome back. I'm still your host, Emmanuel Jr., and you are tuning into your transformative program, Politics and Beyond. This is the only platform that talks about the future of this country, that talks about we building a future, if not for the benefit of you and I, at least for the benefit of the next generation, our children and our children yet to be born. There are a number of messages coming through already, and at the appropriate time, as I indicated, I will share them and will engage with you. So continue to stay tuned. This evening, the other aspect of the conversation has to do with our cocoa farmers. I know very well that all of us have been told, and we have grown to believe and to know and to appreciate, that Ghana, when you talk of Ghana, the only thing that comes into mind, or the first thing that comes to mind, is cocoa. It is actually the backbone of Ghana's economy. And that is exactly what we are going to look at today. So we are looking at how we can revitalize Ghana's cocoa sector. We are going to look at the challenges, and we're also going to look at the solutions. So a brief background. Cocoa farming in Ghana dates back to the late 19th century, and it became central to Ghana's economy in the early 20th century. That is what we have there. Let me use it. Then the other one is that cocoa transformed rural livelihoods and positioned Ghana as a global agricultural powerhouse. That is also one important thing you need to know about cocoa. Ghana is the world's second largest cocoa producer, and this is accounting for roughly 20 to 25% of global cocoa output. 20 to 25% of global cocoa output comes from Ghana. Right. Let's look at the economic role. Cocoa impacts millions of Ghanaians, and there's no two ways about that. About 800,000 smallholder farm families are directly involved in production. And this affects over 3.2 million people in the rural communities, such a huge population in the cocoa industry. Historically, it contributed up to 8 to 10% of GDP and 30% of Ghana's export earnings. That is also very huge. So that is it. Let's look at the recent decline. Production has fallen sharply from a peak of 1 million metric tons to fluctuations between 492,000 to 850,000 plus metric ton in recent years. And that is very huge. Ghana even imported cocoa beans in 2023. And when I realized this, I was taken aback. That Ghana got to a stage where we were importing cocoa beans. And that was in 2023. It really is a striking reversal for a traditional cocoa nation. And anyone who tells you that we are in good times, the person is misleading you. These are the key statistics, recent and relevant. I won't go into that. We can go to the next slide. Look at the recent events in Ghana's cocoa sector, 2025 to 2026. A farmer payment crisis and cash flow problems. That is the recent one. Let's move to the next one. The second one is governance challenges and political interference. That is also the second. We are looking at the recent current issues happening. The third one, we have stranded cocoa and pricing issues. Now let me read it. Cocoa Board's CEO acknowledged tens of thousands of tons of cocoa beans are unsold, and this is due to high farm gate prices. International buyers have avoided Ghanaian cocoa in favor of cheaper sources abroad. That is also a relevant challenge. Let's look at the fourth one. We have sector in crisis. Buyers warn of imminent collapse. Cocoa Buyers Association warns that funding shortfalls, policy inconsistencies, weak sales strategies, and political interference are pushing Ghana's cocoa sector towards a deepening crisis. The next one. E, policy and reform appeals. Can we move to the next one? So those are the things. We are looking at the cocoa prices and government pricing policy, 2025-2026 season. Producer price increase. For the 2025-2026 crop season, Ghana set a significantly higher producer price, about 62.6% above the previous season. And it was aimed at ensuring that farmers will receive a fair share, approximately 70% of free onboard value. This pricing increase was followed by a mid-season adjustment, boosting the price even further, so farmers receive more per bag of cocoa sold. All right. Can we go to the next slide? Let's look at the decline. Production forecast decline. For the 2024-2025 cocoa season, Ghana revised its harvest forecast down to about 600,000 tons. And this was way below historic levels. There's a decline. The next one. What are these recent events? What does the recent events, what do these things mean? The things that I have taken you through. The first one is that farmer confidence and cash flow. Payment delays weakens farmer confidence and may reduce long-term investments in farms. The second effect is that what we call the sector governance, calls for deregulatory reform and critiques of governance signal deep structural dissatisfaction. And that is unfortunate. What it means again, competitiveness. High prices may protect farmers, but risk Ghana losing buyers to cheaper markets. And that is true. Political and policy influence. Political interference is seen by many stakeholders as undermining efficiency. Then we talk of need for modernization. Issues like unsold beans and financing gaps highlights the need for digital, coordinated, and transparent value chain systems. These are the things. The next one we are looking at. Challenges facing the cocoa sector. We have climate change and environmental stress. The almighty illegal mining. I am being told that the illegal mining, the Galamsey, there's an improvement. Maybe it will make time to look into it to be sure whether there's really an improvement or not. But then we also have the supply chain inefficiencies. We have the financial and governance issues. The next slide. We also have smuggling and pricing problems. Then comes socio-economic realities, like many farmers live in poverty despite producing a high-value global commodity. Labor shortages and an aging farmer population undermine the future workforce. That is so worse. In fact, we'll come back to the slides if there's a need for us to. But it is important for us to appreciate the fact that we have not just guests, but we have individuals who are farmers, practical farmers. We have individuals who knows the ins and the outs of this because that is their sector. It is just like describing Emmanuel Wilson as an anti-corruption campaigner. I know the ins and outs when it comes to anti-corruption matters. And those are the caliber of guests we have this evening. We have with us my own brother and friend, someone I've known for years, so many years, Nana Oboadie Bunsu II. He's the president of Concerned Farmers Association of Ghana. And then we also have Mr. Seth Kwei. He is the chairman of Liberty Cocoa Farmers Association. So you should know the kind of individuals we have here. Mr. Seth Kwei, welcome to Politics and Beyond.
Thank you very much.
Nana Akwaba, welcome to Politics and Beyond. I hope you had a great day.
Well, the day has already been great because so far as you are awake, and then we go into the farm and then we have some few things to eat. You know, as a farmer, we have a lot of things around, so we don't buy things outside. We know the fake ones and we know the good ones, so we are eating the good things in the farm. So at the end of the day, I'm cool. I mean, with the radius, I'm okay. Just that I'll use your platform to thank MTN, wherever that they are. I thank them so much that they have been supportive during our hardship with their mobile MTN mobile money loans. I owe them, but then please, I'll pay. That one there, I beg you. Kaka. Up to now.
As a farmer.
As a farmer. In MTN for the mobile. And Ghana Telecom, and I say one touch or one can one can be busi and so your toy. In Tiaden day, no, I think 70 and the other Massico, we afford the Massipa, Mumbra Kachina, Mum programs, so Mumba support here. I think MTN have to design a program for cocoa farmers because some of our areas network has become a challenge.
Right.
How to communicate is a little bit challenge.
That's
but
fine.
They have been supported.
At least almost support more there. It is just appropriate, say. Mobile acknowledgement, and that is why I kept quiet for you to do the acknowledgement. And I think, say, it is quite unfortunate, say, as a farmer, not just as a farmer, but farmer over such a crucial sector, like cocoa sector. Per the introduction I be making, it is so clear, say, the cocoa sector, no, and yet the backbone of Ghana's economy.
Ghana is cocoa.
And yet you have farmers, practical. They are supposed to be the ones who hold their backbone. Coming out to tell us their reliance is on MTN. Just because what? MTN, Ebo Mubesia. Mr. Seth Kwei, how was your day?
Cool.
I was saying.
Oh, I around by to say the Nkuyi Angasa. Say, senior Kuku for Yakwa, which you who senior young comfort. You mupi Margaret San say, is it Casam?
How long have you been in the cocoa industry, farming? How long?
Oh, by 20 years ago.
20 years?
Yeah.
20 years ago. In fact, Nana, when we talk of the cocoa sector, what exactly is happening there?
Well, thank you very much, and then good evening to your viewers, and then to all cocoa farmers across the country, especially with the Concerned Farmers Association. With our identification of community challenges, we've done our best going to the grassroots for them to know what is happening, at the same time engaging some of them that they don't even know them at all to bring them to the limelight. I think my brother here said Kwei was discovered by concerned farmers far away from a place called Kojama, and then it wasn't easy at all. So the job that we are doing is a grassroots mobilization, education, sensitization, at the same time also making sure that the farmers, they are concerned for we to address it to the appropriate headquarters. So now with the grassroots cocoa board as it is now, they are also trying their best. I think there's a new government that they came, and then this is their a year in office, trying to make sure that things will be put in place and other things. We've raised some of our concerns to them, and then recently we had an engagement with the CEO of Cocoa Board, and he also put some few things on the table for us to understand that this is how the situation is. And how the situation is like they also came to inherit a whole lot of debt and other things and some challenges that they are also facing, that they are trying their best also to make sure that things will be in place. With the pricing issue, it was a serious issue that for the past 3 months, everybody knows that we have not been paid, and it has become a serious issue. But at the meantime, as I'm sitting here now, directives has been made, which Cocoa Board is ongoing with the payment, and money will be issued to the LBCs, and then they will also get through the farmers, and then their cocoa will be paid. But one thing that the farmer have to know, that those cocoa that have been received by Cocoa Board and have been sealed, these are the cocoa that Cocoa Board is going to pay for. But the ones that they have it in their household, that one, Cocoa Board hasn't received it yet.
Yeah.
So they have to exercise patience for that. Cocoa Board is trying their best. We get to them, we got to their concern, and we approach them, and then things are in place. But then, talking about the whole industry, I think there need to be a restructure all again, because you talk about decline of the cocoa and other things, and even that one, it is we that have saved the situation. Other than that, it will be worse than that. Our job is to save the cocoa trees in this country. We've toured the length and breadth of this country just to make sure that galamseyers will stay away from our cocoa, and then farmers will also take their cocoa as serious as business for them to do it as it is. We've done a lot. As I'm speaking to you, when you go to a place like Dwaboson Kwanta, Abroa Kofe, Bonzan, that area is full of galamsey. The cocoa that is there, is being destroyed. They are destroying it, they are cutting it. As of now that I'm sitting here, this very evening, mining illegal activity is ongoing, and there was a cocoa farm, a particular cocoa farm that they said there's a lot of gold there, that they are doing what? Digging just to destroy the woman's cocoa. We've tried our best, engage most of the youth around there. They said there's no job for them. So we tried our best, see the chief of Dwaboson Kwanta. First, I went to the regional minister, that is the Western North regional minister. He has been so good. And then the DC for Dwaboso, and they gave us a place. So now what we are trying to do is we've secured a place that want to set up a plantain processing factory, which the young people that they are doing the galamsey will stay away from our cocoa that they are destroying it, and then get back to what? To this plantain business. So with the cocoa, there's a lot of challenges. Galamsey has become serious challenge, which we are fighting it. But then, because we don't have the backup, looking at me sitting here, you know, with my team going to the field, it is not easy. Sometimes we have to say to some of the police personnel and other things. I remember when I went to the central region, I have to go to the central regional police commander, introduce myself, and then tell him that I'm here just to talk to the galamseyers. And he said, anything that will happen, I should just give a call, and then backup will just come. So it's not easy at all. But then we also need a government support, because other than that, I think all that we are doing and we are saying will be a waste. I've been talking about this galamsey and then cocoa for the past 25 years as at now, and I have not seen any improvement within my side that there's change coming, because everything is about farmer general, everything is about concerned farmers, everything is about we, the one on the field doing it, and it is not easy. You know, today after this show, I think tomorrow evening I have to move to Western North and then tour the 72 cocoa district, just to tame or calm those that they are so eager that they want to come out for this demonstration, and then also for this, how do you call it, this giving their lands to galamseyers and other things. But for the farmers, we are creating a team here, now do cocoa fu, and the command galamsey near, you bet you wankasa, you bet you near galamsey nino, now be quite fiasi. Na galamsey ni nso ade akwa fiase cocoa no e yo man mu ni nya dia e Ghana dia Ghana cocoa ntina si cocoa e se e Ghana nti abaya ma obi se gina dua kakra na bi so na abaya so nya bi no e de offense e so hu se cocoa sika no e no na editua police fo ni ye dituatua nkofo no break o man Ghana nti e se abaya so hu se farmers are very important. I will just wake up for the Flight Lieutenant George Rawlings. He is my best man. Why is it so? Because I can say with all the president that we've had so far, let us move Nkrumah aside. He's the only person that stand up for farmers in this country. Because Flight Lieutenant George Rawlings always deal with farmers. I'm telling you that there's no any state program in this country that farmers is being recognized. Even farmers, they don't even recognize us.
Nana,
We're out of
it.
it.
You've said a number of things. Galamsey, the recognition and all that. Yabeba Honmo. But I'm person my name is Mr. Set and Sudin Komaka. Mr. Set, what exactly is from your perspective? So Nana has said one perspective of it. What is happening? Oh, the cocoa industry.
They are cost no pa.
No, near thing say main for opportunity puncha liberty cocoa kuya
Right.
Afi some for feel for nyina mere ne member. And afi miliki ene afoforo nyina wo nyina ebo mechi dom near thing say no kwasem be mfie kakra atwam ni a me de me hu hye cocoa edwuma mu say crisis aye komu afi yenhie bi saada fi ahyase no abanu ni di ni ye so kakra odi kakra to so no na koara afi ye bedu fi November aba no kwafo a wo yempotem nyina wo masinya ikoko kwa eko sikamba ti wo hu me a chairman na de na eko simunti abotre niama be yi ni already zembem niama be yi saa na edira January February still ye hu hwe na ekoko no akọ sikamba nti amasi se krafo no the pressure atso no a wotokoko no so ene yenso a ye hu esi wo se ye behwe se koko ejuma no bekọ nanim ye behwe mabunu crime se ne be ya won di won be shem afi dodo no e blame yen se ya ma wode wo ho ahyemu akodum pempensu ya wo hu hwe nti ne wo kan ni se wo mu bi ensanko galamsey mu ana ekoso ani won kasa tichu nana ebo ama yetumi ni saafo no ekasa pa ena nzentim on ye se o mu ye demo by ekoso azu ni won kasa di nana ebrivu mi se ampa cocoa board e di nioma tutu na akwam si ne be ya ye cocoa na eko ya sika no mai no we nkodu busum ye wie di idi a ebe bibi na ne ya me areho kakra ni se fiti sabri yenya opanyin bia wagana ha emeka se o cocoa kuafo yenim se cocoa no any Ghana across country ni nyina cocoa ni Ghana nti yesrem se nti na ama nioma akobasa
cocoa board CEO on mumbe kasai
oni obian kasai
eye randiabi on mumbe kasai
obian kasai oma out
a Greek minister on so ni obian be kasai
debi
okay
a Greek minister ni obian me kasai nti danka ye ekuafo no ye hwe kwan se wo mu bi mra out mpo meka so ni ekoso no ebia se nti ye gusu tutu niema nti munya abotrema ni yenya ni daso ni ahokeke bi na ye hu se niema betumi ayi ba besi don ya ye kase wo bia metun anu tun kan se ebia se ana se nti ama ekuafo no kra ba mu ebu ejuma na wo yi enu ni ade ha me pa mestre bibri se wo mumodi na wo mra out na wo meka bribi enchire yen se ebe ye ana se wo ye di ni o megu akwan nti mu de munya abotre usika na aka no nso ye hu hihye enkosu bri say mbeti ye
in fact monte hwensu fi finance minister ho to force because the producer atremadwan ba so say cocoa is not under a Greek ministry, it is under finance. Ato forcing yira ato forcing enum be di nkomo biaye
ba bonti meka
hwenche mu biaye nana yes please.
The one they say didn't want to say they operate on the local level, they are not in the region.
Yes.
Into your core meeting this very Friday. Into the briefing. Into Monday. Monday, you know, you engage me a lot of activities. Me into if you are Chinakono, and you sending the message to the grassroots. That moment, say you could share muno. Randy Abbey, CEO of Cocoa Board. Through a friend is saying, a finance minister, honorable Ato Forcing, I'm a directive say they should pay the farmers. Into Cocoa Board, so I make a provisional and also no sika, ready, LBCs no, almost a becase come on my day, Omotria. But Triana ye Triano and Omutriano, cocoa. Ghana Cocoa Board are scepter, Omasoma has been sealed. these are the cocoa that they are paying for.
Right.
It is all cocoa be na say.
Na wo fear.
E wo fear.
Eno nka ho.
Eno nka ho. Ba cocoa ya gisisi ya no e wo ho na e wo kemu no. Wudum so de akọ. Ade a wo de akọ ya ma receipt there. Na say won say dey itua oka. Because in itua oka e ba ne say na ma receipt. It ma receipt okay fine. We ahyensode wo de ba ye be ma oden, ye be ma oska. Into obi okita receipt bia no cocoa board age ade no de. Na che say enche Musabeden Ebekonsika because last day na day woman yen said this month have been declared as what chocolate day and it is cocoa through that make chocolate. Into we are expecting say we will be having our money. Second thing or because Okachem say na any scan na be kan wasem dan come.
Yeah. So the challenge I me want to say with this briefing are okay.
Yeah.
It has to do with cocoa board has taken.
Yeah.
Aban has taken.
Yeah.
What about the ya harvest here ewofie? What was the briefing?
The briefing no ombeto ni nyina. Cocoa board will take all.
Yes.
This year ya bibia beko. But the other one say there is a friend is saying a drop of the cocoa price. All of us we know, international market we know. Sisi ano negotiation ya ni cocoa board the question na say ye num be kind ni say one a business na ye. It is a price of a friend is $1 and as a dollar rate no echo higher because in name say $1 na editor my high purchase we need to get more money e ba fam so a omonche so that is all because obi enu one ma oba akoye adwuma obeden obeboka because ye ton so we 2 Ghana cedis na ochina ye say niema ede ye no aye we nti say cause ye nyina efoka no for it me too much any time you try the co into a ban say na price cost around the 1 year they want to move my and at the day you know this government give us the 70% share of our price yeah the year looking for it at the day no you say the best we catch cocoa kwafo and say oh cocoa na say one fan kwa how ho kwa because afi na cocoa no emu ba be yede cocoa na ye na afi na emu ba be yede we mu say nema bebre na dey anko yie in the way say dey expecting no because at the day no say ahụ chire we dey ankanye say dey eba enam bibisu na ma na dey ni na dey aba but the answer here can say say cocoa board emele ni dey every because you see we have a new administration, we have a new CEO all man fan na dey team firm na ultimate put things right because at the day no when you are a CEO and you are at your office you never want to make cause on dey I remember when Dr. Fia Koto was in power. Now the agric minister, and at that time, no, cocoa board is under. I sent messages through a friend and the minister. He responded because there was a timer, and not Ghana cocoa. It will even decline more than this. I have to send a whole report to the minister for him to respond. And some of them, they are paying these farmers with a rehabilitation project. Until we there, always we are on the ground. But if you decline and I say you try to distance yourself from concerned farmers and you lose because we hold the cocoa trees and then your chine say a tree and all cocoa in Ghana will come down. First time baby
Mami beside this question, how long has this challenge been?
It is just this recently Yana challenge.
How long in terms of months?
3 months. We are in the 4th month now. We are in the 4th month.
It is this 3 months in a harvest no. Aban entoy into this past 3 months no obi bia why any harvest bia no onya sikanfi aban hoye because aban entoy
they call a crown is scanning my they call no imagine the ones that are
gone
but not all farmers to be honest with you not all farmers because they are cocoa board started paying the farmers even one more to ya anamebo
what you be see
November no mu na ahun here na ye den e bai scanning anya de antimi anto aso anko na report yensu enya ne say yesi e cocoa no ebo ye den that is a 3,625 nipa no ba beto cocoa no so say ye cocoa no boye den baby a yate so ade na yenye den yente ye de no so ena yesi an cocoa bo no so bibiare na yesi no ejina bibi so one cocoa we nya agide da nti se we nya agide a ade na de waje no wo nya den won tuan fama yen na dia won giye no latest price how the be mine no I dey you're breaking it even no I dey o dia mine eno na ye hwe say
we are going
ne kuafo no hwehwe sesi a ne say bra otu mu no ono be kan say me dey say atumu amam kuafo no budget
so yeah
ina ye oni anantia bedum pempen so afa niama enkoyie nti ne kuafo no hwe kwan say bedu doi anka omra out no make say oh yenti a niama nko yie eni nti mu hwe ye ni mu yeguso e de niama etutu na akwan besi doi sense o make hwe nti ebi mu ho a woni ye ndidwa e wo memu a bebre adanu weni ekọ ya bi ti se Togo eni Côte d'Ivoire na ni aboa en kakra ni se ye memu ha kokonu papa sense afọ no na omo de atoto hu se ye papa ye de eni won de no susu ne ya kakra bi nti sa de a adenti na won da ni weni nko if say who a woto koko na nkasa ema won won aban no meka hwe nkyira wonti wosuro se woto koko no na won do sika neto woto a na se aban so obeyisu so obetisu na on aboka nti sanka aban no ba bonti beka se o se nioma enko yie nti ye tutu niama nti munya abotre na ye betutu kosi se ye betuso ana ye betiso na ma ekuafo no ene saafo no nya nkranhye bi so abana abo anoboa se ebipu a obetiso na wato na se ye hu se obetiso na obeto ana ontiso onto ebise ni ye nyina egu a odi kwa obi asem minto because minim ni eko sa aban bekase ye nto so bekase ye mento ye nim ni eko
obeto
nti ni ye hwehwe ni se umra bontin meka bibi nkyere se oh ebia ye beti so se na mo ye beto ni nya ne sa ni nche se ye adwuma na wa ye ni omu ye nyina ne ye show nkran so enye de ya te so amano ni nti aban se obeti so no wa nti mo man so adwuma
I think sir from what you are saying and for me that is the perception I get and it's a lack of communication is the issue here that and I find it challenging that the Cocoa Board CEO and all those in charge of Cocoa Board, including the finance ministry, will not want to come and have a communication with you. Because the other challenge is where there's lack of communication, it puts you guys at a difficult situation, and then so many things comes into your mind. Me per se a car issue about how are this galamsey, because Nana, you were talking about galamsey, and you even made reference to the fact that in Umreya, there's a galamsey taking place somewhere. We are going to talk about the galamsey, but before that, Mami pick one or two messages that have come through so that we'll see. This one says, good evening, Mr. Wilson. I have 3 questions to ask this current Attorney General. 1, what is Afenyo Markin's docket on the police assault doing in Attorney General's office? Attorney General should update Ghanaians on Professor Frimpong Boateng's report. 3, Godfred Dame, who was caught on tape trying to lie against Atu Forsen just to prosecute him. I'm not getting that part, but I didn't add your name. This one says, in fact, these politicians are the cause of our problem. When they misbehave in public, the law goes mute. But when ordinary Ghanaians go wrong a bit, the law is applied. The laws are used on certain group of people. You didn't add your name, but yes, to some extent, I agree with you. This one says, I pray that the truth shall come out at Ayawaso East. This is Robert Barikesi. Mr. Wilson, is there any means we can devise a way to track those who voted for the winner and the same for the lady? What at all is there in Parliament? This is very shameful and very greedy. We should be with that. Okay, I didn't get that part. This is Tommy Hula from Tommy Hula Gomado. Okay, you didn't tell us where you're from. Hi, Emmanuel. As for the Cocoa Brouhaha, the former ex-Speaker of Parliament has exonerated the NDC. So whatever is put up there to tarnish the image on the NDC is unfounded. Tommy Hula, I'm not getting what you are trying to say. Okay. Francis from Ashaman, if it is true that this government is resetting the Ghana we want, then it must bring Baba Jama to book, including the MPP party, for Ghana to move forward and not backward. Okay, Mr. Wilson, I'm a cocoa farmer and one of the farmers who cut their cocoa farms last year. So talking of cutting, that is harvest. Meboa. I know cutting, what does it mean? Harvesting?
Or cutting is not harvesting.
For the past 1 year, not even a peso has been paid to us. So probably still talking about harvest. Meanwhile, we are made to understand that the program is World Bank sponsored program, which shouldn't happen the way it is happening. Is there anything like that? You understand what he means? Okay. One funny count. This vote buying and selling is a disgrace to our democracy, and if not properly dealt with, it will affect the future of our democracy by choosing rich candidates instead of qualified people to hold position in our Ghanaian politics. I'm Emmanuel K. Dampte, Asawenso, Western North. Okay, Western North. Okay, great. This one says, Galamsey is destroying the cocoa very much, and something must be done as soon as possible. Thank you for the good job. I am Asti inside Abofor. Asti, thank you too. I'm Nana Eje inside Sefi. We also. Vote buying seriously affects our democracy and often adds to the wrong choice of political leaders. Honestly, this has happened several times whenever elections are approaching. Many MPs we see in parliament today came through vote buying, while cocoa farmers are crying because they are not being paid fairly for their cocoa products. This is very worrying. Great thanks to the president for taking steps to investigate this matter, as protecting our democracy is important for the future of our country. Again, Nana, okay, I think I've read this one. This one says, Nana Obuadie is indeed a champion for Ghanaian farmers. As the president of the Concerned Farmers Association, he's vocal about the challenges farmers face, like assessing capital and fair prices for their produce, but he is less recognized. Okay, that's right. I'll come back to the messages, but there's one which talks about Galamsey. Galamsey is destroying the cocoa very much, and something must be done as soon as possible. What I said? Galamsey, any mukoko ejuma amuye, with the challenges that you are talking about.
No crepa na mpanyinfo no e ka no huhu asise cocoa beans no Galamsey nro no a affecting na esese wo kana yen cocoa kuafo no anka yehu ne yie na yenyina ta aban na chi ne yeku saade no na ejai but wo kan no kakra de fase na wo mpese ebeba ma yehu ti o yentimi hu ne enti a eya nioma bi wo ho na wo pese wo ni sie ache no kure ha yen chese wo twagu no ne wo ntwagu no nro no ekom ebedu ba bi no se anhwe entutu ho ne ama na bebi a wo tokon omo beka se o Ghana mu kokoo no yehu se nro se na ewo mu nti ebia ye ndanto.
When you say some years back, the same thing happened. Almost rejected some of your cocoa beans because of Galamsey. Right.
See, I make us say, Nancy any baby, na me chum edishe cocoa jumemu. The Brenua be mantini, na me hwehwem Nancy no. Esi baby na sanko, say what do won kwehye Galamsey mu. Kwase me reho.
You say what is cannibal in terms of
the na afi cocoa nso a wo de ko nso a sika mai.
That's right.
Me chum asiara. Nti nia challenges a Galamsey no de breye no. Say anhwa ntutu ho niama enne a ebedu baabi no. Afi the cocoa no se nia ye hu no nne no. Be say bibia. If say cocoa no ene ni Ghana. Cocoa ene ni Ghana. Ghana eye cocoa. Nti mesrem pedinfo no bebre say wonfa won nansi ho Galamsey no so omo be ya wonhwe baabi a cocoa ni say omo di akwanya ne be ma omo anwaya no moye na mom se ne wotu yen cocoa no gu ko gina cocoa fuo no ebinum ankasa de cocoa fuo no ma se wonfa ntu sa cocoa no sabano de nsise gu akwam se wa wo di cocoa be ma ye be chew wonso akwa akotu ye be chew a nka fiase nkakra no sa ne omo ni nyina to be twa ni mo cocoa no hu ban ni hu se eno na betimi aboa ma Ghana ejina.
There's one thing, Nana, I know you want to talk about the Galamsey, but there's one thing Mepese said Bedouin who was I come to you. Said there's one thing called scholarship for cocoa Equafor Omumba. Yebidi no hunkomo. Nana, this cocoa and Galamsey issue. What is happening?
Yeah, I mean, it is very dangerous. I've talked about this thing for so many years. Honorable Ofusuan Pofu knows about this. I've been a serious advocacy for this kind of issue. But before I come to that one, now I can be about Impenifo to engage the farmers. Impenifo na engage farmer groups, you know, heads of the farmer groups across the country. Ebinum ba ebinum enya kwayama. Ema they are treating the situation on the ground so far as this FN is a non-payment we are into my say directives no has been made by the finance minister to the CEO of Cocoa Brand Yabi Sikano eba omobe release their microphone nti nkita hodie de omone eyekuyafo nkabomu kwahia a discuss nti ye na ebe ko fam na ya den yakọ send up the message nti na me can say if you ochina ekono meko efeni say Western region may to almost the 72 cocoa district na ye no mahia edim komo ahwe kwan be fa se be so side mani na no nti say wo hwe me na so wo problem a kawakoma to ye menche usika unsa be kan usika galam say issue no about be problem na
bacho me twa na
okay
message na say ni oka ni nyina ya age atu na ni ekuafo no hwehwe ne say on say ba koko hu nsem a
yeah
eto da koko kueni akoto ne radio no o tie ni say obeka ehun nsem bibi ni ekowo enu echi eba paper review omo ne zentrofo obehia na ihihye omo aye nyina no zentrofo obehu na wode egu paper anim edu anopa ebia na omo ye paper review na woka enu ho asem enu na kokwekuafo no hwehwe
enu no nye penifo ase enu ne zentrofo no mo choose the kind of story so mo kan
meti ase na meti ase omo yes anhihye a won't sanfre zentrofo
that's right
no zentrofo no so emfa ntudwan wo ze ne yempanifo no
I think the whole issue has to do with communication and say finding a way to make sure say information gets down to the roots on where it is so much information it is so because so was sure now my directives now my information now me am what ase no ade ne fa me ho no I find it difficult to access the information then they me kwaya say me buy I understand perfectly so I think the structure must be looked at and for me that is the reason why when you go to Cocoa Board they have a PR
yeah.
When you go to finance ministry, they have a PR. And I'm saying finance ministry because Cocoa Board is now under finance ministry.
Sure.
Omu now PR. The PR of Cocoa Board is not his duty, so Obetina office.
Heavy.
And no. Because the Kwafo in New Honma, Cocoa Board doesn't exist. It is a PR. And I don't know how they what title is given, but if you are the one who interface between Cocoa Board and the public, you should know say your number one stakeholder and your number one target, and yet just any public, but Equiafo. Your number one.
Yeah.
And until the Cocoa Board office, now decisions are taken. Now mean to me put two structures in place in such a way, say decisions are taken to me disseminated that information to the last person or your cocoa farmer. Then I'm not doing my work well. You understand? Yeah. Then I'm not doing my work well. And right now, I work so many communication channels near the end. I don't see why it should be difficult to even communicate. So now me make a decision and then I don't see why I said decision is me per se a call throughout Ghana. It can go throughout the Ghana before the day ends. It should be.
Yeah.
So if communication is the challenge here, from Asama said they can it is very clear to me said the challenge has to do with the bureaucracy in terms of communication. It is a see way so now dear chia or the aqua koma way, adia chia the aqua koma way or adia chia the aqua koma way. That is not how best baby I do. We are in the technological era, communication era. You don't spend more than 24 hours to disseminate information. It doesn't work that way. Yeah. So I think say Cocoa Board, and I know they are listening and they are watching you. Cocoa Board especially, the ones in charge of communication and PR, they should be up and doing. So pharmacy in New Honumwa, Cocoa Board doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Now, me are interested in this. First off, a cocoa clinic. More clinic. Yes, see, ama Equiafo. Because we so of Kanisha, we have cocoa clinic there.
Yeah.
Cocoa clinic, and yet it is situated at North Kanishi. Around North Kanishi, meaning the kind of cocoa farms that work on. But ABR, we have one in Accra. But ABR in other places are yeah farming near the more cocoa clinical.
I say, what do you can besides na cocoa kuafunu?
Scholarship.
Scholarship.
Yes.
Na minke no answer. Be mfie be dumi etwemuni. Sa scholarship no. Yeti won from am say what they ma cocoa kuafo ma. But at the end of the day no be hwe no. Nania obenya sa scholarship no. Na ofu ni cocoa. Denti cocoa kuafo eni okamafo eni anu ti se nia me kan se anka se wo mai wo hu se ejuma na ye no ye wo ye chi a wo support ye ma se ye hia bribi a wo de dum ye na wo ma kofa mo akodu okuani no wo ye ni bisa nti se cocoa okuani ati se wo se wo ma ne ba scholarship patikeke but at the end of the day be hwe na akodi baby ina ya ti se ye wo cocoa clinic cocoa okuani bia ni baby obeka se baby a cocoa fuo miai no ye si clinic bia mo se o ye cocoa okuani na oba ana wangasa mpo ohun mfa wa ohun dudu wa obetimi akọ ye ni bibisa ati ye ti o ya so ewo nkru akasim nti ejuma no nso wo
from home villages
village nu ina sanioma ni nyina scholarship ene cocoa clinic ni nyina ewo nkru akasim nti nkru akasim fo na ebe na
enjoy
na wo bonds na nkasa awo ye ejuma ni die.
That's sad. That is sad. Very, very, very sad. That is very, very, very sad. Nana, who will be ever with cocoa clinic ne scholar because honestly, this issue of scholarship, are you worrying?
Yeah.
And I know of individuals, they are not farmers in any way. I mean, himself omumba and enjoy this scholarship near the.
Yeah, even I say, with the cocoa clinic na somebody there, what can and I'm a person make a cry I become too emotional because one, I lost my son because there was nothing like a clinic at my area.
Sorry.
And then even the clinic crying and they were crying. You're crying almost on my pong.
Wow.
So I have to rush my son to Mampong. Tetakwashi.
The distance.
Mampong here.
Yeah.
But then you could do a column and say, "Men for coffee colana card and brands and a masha colana." So we buy a colana. So it's like you see, we have a whole problem. But what can be there? It's very painful. And I'm there seeing me say, "Me internase and share my cocoa behind the end say." Me making sure say cocoa biano. A card the last street crana concerned farmers by the leadership of the farmer general. I will save it. And Debbie America say, our president is not being informed on a lot of things that is been happening on the grassroots. They are lying to the president, and I will say that because Omushia CSOs about this illegal activity.
Yes, Ali.
Now, Yembisa say, "Nkofo bena omapenishia o Jubilee House." Omushia omunyina na nyese bi omuso ni faso, but Ishiano Mushia president was just a waste of time, and I mean. A whole we've caused a loss to the nation.
Yeah.
So mom penny about now. No one can answer same declare state of the nation, declare this and that. Could you believe say I have to beat security, find a way to dodge Mecca because we could PM, we can't fast PM, the man of PM. Jubilee House. It's not easy for you to enter Jubilee House. But me I'm for crime so do Jubilee House. Everywhere work or tena a hobby. I wasn't invited. The pajamas say honorable fellows of Musuka, maybe I will be able to head or being cancer. One frame. After that, me confronting the catcher and say, I didn't know 1 day. One frame. Because in someone I can see a canoe. And very important. Exactly. They destroy a cocoa. And cocoa is the only crop. That is the state crop of this country. The future of this country is cocoa. It's not gold. We don't eat gold. You're not gold board, all right. Fine. But the MBS said, what is happening to your backbone of your economy? It is being destroyed. And how many people or who is there to make sure say this cocoa tree is being saved? Enemy team. And it is not easy. Financing going to the grassroots even to say some of these kind of things, And I remember said there was a time I nearly got shot. It was Kofi Wayo that saved me. What am I gonna say? But let me say, and what is happening? As at now, they are destroying cocoa. You track cocoa, but they have a then say, you nya a new CEO of cocoa board. Randy Abeni shine, or Kasembi, and the mammy nya regime say he can do better, and then ye channel, but on Pejano, Oman and Imbre. As some kind said, there are laws be a government the friend saying the tree crop protection, the tree crop protection laws are then. Omba Bishemukina. Into winning who kinds of so then who track cocoa. But I'm so surprised, say, we have people in parliament. They live on these cocoa growing areas. So you're a member of parliament now to cocoa growing area. I'm saying it today, say you lose your seat. Let me get 12 years so whether you like it or not. Because 2028 ever. Let us ask them, say, what is their contribution towards that thing? You destroy cocoa. You talk cocoa, who sell cocoa. Yeah, cofield. Boys see what field. They are very dangerous. Some are holding so that for so women say that is not farmer general. Farmer general is not like this. But then, because of the nature of the job, we have to be like this just to face them and talk to them. Our young people want jobs, not because they want to destroy our environment. Because there's no job, that is why they are doing this kind of illegal activity. And I'm telling you, we use excavators and other things. And yet, that I'm saying, we use excavator not the two cocoa more. Send it pano. Or no, that I'm saying. That I'm saying, or no. Oma yes and many in area only did the aseka cracker. But ayana the say this kind of voice no wedding almost says you. I'm telling you say I'm not gonna say Kobonza kwa block of it 18 day you took a fem you too fem you too a sin na
international said this information we keep hearing about say Galamsey activities is coming, they are coming down. We are working on it.
They are lying to the I'm saying it today. Say they are lying to John Dramani Mahama. I have an evidence. I have a video. This is the 5th time America's assembly. The one I mean can be. They say a national security threat. If the president, and I know say the president is not aware. 2016, I gave a report to the president. He saw it about Philly Gadochi Ogunye. No cry there. Esan Fred Barre can say, Nana, what you said was true. And then Mr. Kabim say, Mr. President, there are some document, it's not document, there are some videos you have to watch it yourself. Nobody, I will not give it to anybody. Unless you request it and you watch it with me. When we finish, I'll take it my own back because it's my property. In Yama Kosono, and we the cocoa farmers are highly in danger. And we have to protect this. You need a Juma Biao, your cocoa Biani assume. Internet, you're rejecting Ghana cocoa, a Juma Bene. A friend is saying, said Quay. Or yet you may be apart from cocoa. The new beer cocoa ya. It is a neck I say Ghana cocoa ya reject you bima. I said the broad you call me now. I wish. Inti yes some me friend is saying honorable Ama Kofiboa. Please. The shop have sent me some other messages and others. I have not get any reply from you. Galam say no koso. Yeah the other say can say mo be anya mining. But then don't catch a cocoa tree. Because me you also be trouble called Biapa. IVP, you see, they are politics. This is pure politics. Cocoa, Galam say, is politics. Because at the end, you will see armed police people guiding this kind of illegal activities. Go to, say, what is the name? Anyamfure. Any, say, a cropon, any the kika. Use roadside, yeah. And how can you do this to yourself? Your own country. What I say, assassin here, or Mampenika Simbi, or say, the future of the world is Africa. And Africa no kaino, and no be so no one can say Ghana. Right. That is the future. And the future, and what are we doing to ourselves? Our river bodies is being destroyed. But there's some of you say, if it is contaminated, that's a settle or down. That doesn't first a guarantee say it's only a health is over to me. When you drink, you die. She say yes, when you tia, and not just say so no. Yeah. We met one woman I am an ability and yes, so near tin and edging. Yet they can say cocoa no is Ghana property. Yeah. We need to protect it, we need to save it. And as a farmer general, I will make sure say I will save this cocoa tree in this country. But I catch IGP say we need a protection. Good. We need a police escort to do this kind of activity.
Farmer general, thank you so much. Seth, Mamin Bisa, who acres are in our old order?
Me will be 17 acres.
17 acres. Anna, why you say Jume for 20 years?
20 years.
farmers, cocoa farmers, more be a friend pension.
I'm say I buy a tree muno. Ena or this science channel about true grass or so yes I cocoa farmers pension scheme my or my own way to try young food is sweet to try peaches. DJ Ghana card any obey. But basic doing getting who she be.
Nibi. And new governments are being so they haven't done anything to suggest that they want to give you into money pension. More contributed to SNIT. I buying contributed SNIT, mama.
Debbie.
Just saying no.
Eban is saying, and I will say, oh yeah, cocoa. You see, anything about government is a scam for me because one, I don't believe in government doing something for we farmers are an independent body.
Right.
Also, by a pensioner, we are highly educated. Some of us are course we natural even in Bibia. There were a man PhD in marketing and finance and other things. There can say when I was setting up the pension, whatever, let it be there. Let we the farmers run it on our own. Because when you go to the other countries, it is farmers they are the people that they are running on their own business. True. Because the moment we acquire government, it will turn politics. MPP NDC game, we the farmers, we are tired of all these things. We are farmers. In the end, they can say, ye tear their or man penny kind in name to 2 and a day, ye 2 something a day, elected man by. We decide who should be president of this country. We decide who should be the MP for 2028 and the president for 2028. Into the area, if you don't give it to us, forget it. Don't underrate us. It also be sent a message say we have been doing this for so long, but we are not recognized. Sure. And they fire because one day you will get a president, we will get a government that will recognize us. Say, Juma, and we are saving the trees of this country. Well. It would have pension in the Hika can do and all because say one, farmers are not part of the game. Because we are not recognized. Tamana Jojo Rollins every 6 months, Independence Day. Farmers have representative to sit down with the president.
Yeah.
Speech of the nation address. Farmers have representative in parliament. What I say? Farmers Day celebration. The president have to dine with who? With the farmers.
Yeah.
But this time around, say, if you don't recognize us as an essential worker, we, the right time will come. Yes, you'll be fire because at the end of the day, you know, Watutu Niema or say Feed Ghana initiative, then they say, but let Yembisa say, how many farmers are involved? What the American say? We need to be involved. We need to be part of their daily activities because without we, they are nobody.
Very well.
They are not there.
Very well.
Farmers, we feed the nation.
Very well.
We have the power. John Dramani Mahama, he's a farmer. It will not be a young country. If you are not done, will never be so for a report. You farmer. It will not be a country.
Mate, may I say, your time will call. What we are going to do is to remember 30 seconds is to give your final words. But before we do that, let me read this. Pick 1 or 2 messages that has come whilst you drink your water. This one says, "Good evening, my boss. Please, Cocoa Clinic, cocoa scholarships are benefited by the government officials and not cocoa farmers. I am Francis from Sefi Debiso. I hope I got it right. The government should do something about it for the farmers. Else we will cut the trees." I'm Bismarck from Aguna, Swedro. I'm the Prince from AEP. I'm a young farmer. Please, even if there has been a reduction in cocoa price, the government must tell us something. So the problem is now communication. That is all I see here. Good evening, Mr. Wilson. Please, I would be grateful if your producer can call the Cocoa Boss CEO to explain to us, to explain it to Mr. Seth, because both the CEO and PR are moving from radio and TV stations to explain it to the public. I mean, that I don't think there's a need for that. And your public, your number one audience should be the farmers. And yet the public, neither is it media. How many farmers have access or have time to even listen and watch radio and TV? It is not so. Until the fact say the CEOs and the PR, they are going from radio to be communicating. In fact, that should be the second option. The first one, then they say, you devise a means and ways directly to the farmers and talk to them. Only omuka say we are radio ni TV. But it shouldn't be the other way around. Well, let me go on. This one says that Good evening, Mr. Wilson, and your panelists. Please beg the government to do something for we, the cocoa farmers, because it is either farmers in either not to lose hope for Ghana. Gazari Anthony, your message is not clear. We don't even have money to buy food while our cocoa bean is in the house, but there's no money to buy the cocoa. Please, the government must tell us something. We are suffering. This one says the government should do everything possible to pay cocoa farmers. This one says says that cocoa is the future of Ghana, but for now, we are destroying them with the galamsey. And the government is not stopping that for the farmers. And a time will come whereby the Ghanaian environment is going to be in this trouble, shortage of food, poor water, and even the citizens are going to face sicknesses due to our environment. Even our cocoa is now getting chemical. And what about our plantain and cassava? All right, this is, you didn't add, you said, I am that way from Kutukrum. I'm Emmanuel Ewa. Please tell Nana Oboade that I love him so much. Thank you. All right. Mr. Wilson, I'm Francis Atebubu. This issue of farmers in general is disheartening. In my area, the farmers are really suffering. Their maize and beans are not buying. But I remember the government directed that all government institutions should buy grain from Ghana. So what is happening? Is it true that food produce are being imported into the country? This voted for you, but they are being okay, you didn't add your name. Please, I want to know the day the government will address farmers for unpaying their cocoa money. I am Richard from Western Region. Good evening, Mr. Wilson. Please, I am Kuchu from Menshia Kumasi. What the farmer is talking about, that is said, is all 100% true. Those in government don't help the president at all. Okay, my time is up, but thank you so much. All the messages that I'm not able to read, and the ones that keep coming. I'm sure next week I'll continue with your messages. Nana, Mami, starting with you. 30 seconds, your last word. Yeah,
the Ekainani said we want to meet the president to address some issues confronting with the farmers. Because they did yada your friend is a Randiabe as he said Randiabe share farmer groups. So Randiabe cannot tell the whole 72 cocoa district to talk to them. And you meet the farmer groups, you send your message to them, they go to the grassroots, they deliver it to them. Why? I'm not here to talk to, I'm not the PR for cocoa, but to talk to.
But I don't really agree to that.
But I say, fine, but then share and say that is what we have to, the message, for which you send it. And the catch of company say, John Ramani Mahama, but you are a farmer. And we need there's some serious thing that we have to meet you and then discuss. Now the cocoa for the matters, and then it's time for you also to meet your farmers. So that you also listen to them, because we have a lot of things to talk about, not only cocoa, but there are a lot of things that you have to know, and they know the situation on the ground. What happens to you 2016, don't let it happen to you again. Because that the same report, that is a reflection of what is happening.
Thank you.
But they can say, Mommy enjoy galamsey. Now you know no cocoa, munyabotre. Abai say, Washishe skadi ato, enche obiansa beden, ebeka ni sika sede chepepepe.
Very well.
Shene mo kutwa cocoa nengu anko ye galamsey ara en ton farmer galamsey ni cocoa no eno ani ye da chi ni bibia ye somu ye a ebeboa amoma na de akonkan. Now so we politician na wo galamsey areas and say wo cocoa area no hwe say 2028 you be two adies.
Nana, may that say. Thank you so much. Uncle Seth.
You.
Okay, say chatwo.
You. If you are me devemo in for teach you cocoa board ni say yes, when we be on the omra out, no me can be chire e cocoa afo. Afi nye toso. Ye cocoa ye hu edwuma organa han. Yes, when we be mo on fan ye politics asem. Because cocoa no ni Ghana. It is homo ye on politics na. Who ye no mfim. If say as a cocoa farmer no, ono baby or pen or two na abako. It is say o hwe na woni ni ndi ni yi a obetumi asesa na adwi nti so what the politics a wan hwe abeko atia ho if you say e ba sa want to mean kam no kware enjire yen na say woyi politics no tu nchen a anka ne akwa nyina o betumi abawaye ni a kire so say kokuafo e say na akoba say nti na ama bibia ba sa oni entrance no o kan say o ni say nti o yati so ama no ni say nti me ti so kakra nti say kuafo obeti ase because yɛn nyinaa yɛ nimu nieko na ɔmo ma yɛ hu nieko nti yɛsrɛ ɔmo bebree ɔmo bɛka bibi nkyerɛ
Medase Panana, thank you so much for making time. Uncle Seth, Nyamin Sharp,
Again, I sana can who ready. You make out for trotro.
I can imagine, but this is not what. Look, when you travel to other countries, when you go to a place like South Africa and you describe yourself as a farmer, I mean, you have swag. That's what it means. It's such an unfortunate thing. Say the farmers. And just say any time, I wanted us to also dive into how best are you able to move the cocoa production from its raw state by adding some significant value to it. Because Mati, you having that conversation. So clearly we'll come back again and have this conversation because farmers are so dear to my heart, very, very dear to my heart. And we need to work on this one. Yeah.
Years. Honorable Randy Abbey, SEO serious thing to do just to revive the cocoa industry. It is on the pipeline.
Well, I am hoping.
Yeah.
For me, the issue of our pipeline is long overdue. And I am no more interested in anything like long overdue. Akwa quiet to say special prosecutor, investigation. I'm not interested in that. Look, Seth has worked for 20 years. And you feel now about catch him say it is in the pipeline. And to say Nimba Eco School. And to say, unfortunately, you've lost your child. This is not what we need. Into the issue of it's in the pipeline, it is long overdue. We don't need that. Not on this platform. On this platform, we want action, and that is what we need. You understand? Thank you so much for making time to join us. Let me acknowledge Mrs. Susie Odai. Mrs. Susie Odai. I know very well that you are an ardent, just like many of you are there, ardent viewer of this platform. Thank you so much. My job was so much. I'm sure at the right time, I will see you in person. All too soon, this is where time will allow us. I am still your host, Emmanuel Wilson Jr. Until we meet again next week, same time, on your transformative platform, Politics and Beyond, on your great station, TV XYZ. All I can say for now is good night.